gun. First ban, first pick on the blue side. Shen and Jace already out of there. And yeah, we talked a lot about Ocelot over the many months he's been on stream. We've seen SK quite a bit in the IPL 5 qualifiers where, unfortunately, situations arose where there were a lot of forfeits actually coming in from SK, just couldn't get the whole team together. But SK is also a team very prone to lots of roster changes in the past. Also, now the latest being Herkbot, but the core stays the same. Ocelot. You can't kick Ocelot off SK. I mean, he is the man. He is the man. Kevin's been there for a while, and Nif has been there for a while now. So, but it's like every single time, like there seems to be like some minuscule problem. Somebody gets kicked.
And that's something that we see out of a lot of teams. There's a different ideology. Either you take what you have and you work really hard to make it the best it can be, but sometimes that's just not where you want it to be. And that's when you kind of realize that you need to have that B team that you can pull players from, or like another practice partner team where you know the players, you know they're going to be a good fit immediately, and you can bring them into the lineup, see if it's going to work out for a few months, and if not, you change it up again. Yeah, but the sure bet for SK is that Ocelot's going to be there and that they're still going to be a driving force in Europe. Yes.
And also, speaking of those other teams, Eclypsia, not too long ago, was actually split in, they had two separate teams. Actually, during our IPL 5 qualifiers, they decided to axe one of them, just stick with one team. Let's get one under our belt. Let's get one team working here first. And now we saw them hit to the grand finals of Tales of the Lane, and it seems that now they got something pretty good for themselves here.
Yeah, Eclypsia is a relatively new organization as far as the overall esports dynasties are concerned, but already doing a really good job. They've got teams in other games as well, so not just League of Legends. They're trying to do really well with that. They had the two teams like you're talking about. One of them split off in some sort of conjunction of it, with Shalaya going to GSU Gaming, which is now Epsilon Gaming, which we will be seeing on IPL in the future. Really looking forward to see how they can do.
We couldn't quite get them for the Royale, unfortunately.
For this game right now, let's take a look at the picks and bans, see what these guys are going to be going down.
So we got a lot of, we got a few targeted bans here. Fizz, clear targeted ban, and also a lot of jungle-oriented stuff here. Actually, nearly all jungle-oriented here on the side of Eclipsia, Shen, Skarner, and Xin. Diane has also been quite a bit of a menace. Jace is still as powerful as ever, but there's still plenty of strong champs being picked up. First pick Lee Sin, always amazing to have, and looking to be countered by the potentially jungle Rengar. We may see him in the top lane, but since his recent nerfs a few patches ago, we've been seeing Rengar less and less good at top. Those nerfs were really oriented to make sure that he can't be the monster that he used to be there in the top lane.
Yeah, he's not going to be as much of a monster himself. He's not going to be able to assassinate quite as much as he was when he first came out. But combined with Orianna, that is a scary, scary combination. What is going to be able to happen later in the game is Orianna's going to be able to put her ball on Rengar when he's invisible. And he's going to be able to jump from really far away and deliver that ball from something that you would not expect an initiation to come out of. So that's going to be exciting to see when it gets to the late game. Yeah. But if you look at Eclypsia, they're designing their lineup very similarly to what they had in Tales of the Lane. They've got the Lee Sin jungler most likely for I'm So Fresh. He was able to actually take the red buff away from SK in the first game and then just completely dominate their lanes in the second game. Yeah. Ideally, SK will have something to say about this. Maybe it'll be a Kayle to kind of keep them alive a little bit longer. I'm interested to see how that goes down, but then we've got the Zyra on the other side. Do you think this is going to be the mid for Tabs going up against Ocelot's Orianna, or is this going to be more of a support Zyra?
I'd like to see it in mid. I think it's more than likely going to be mid, but you have to leave the option open. The support Zyra is really starting to come up into her own. Started off huge in all the Asian metas, and now transitioning now to the rest of the world. I'd like to think that it's a mid, but we're going to see in just a second. The Vayne picked on in, so now I'm starting to go back on myself though, because Zyra and Vayne is actually a really deadly combo.
It will be a deadly combo if they run that. However, if you look at the other side, we got it most likely a Kayle versus Jax in the Bruiser department. Maybe we might have a lane switch here with Ocelot picking up Lulu for his support. They have not picked their AD yet, so there's a little bit of flexibility coming out here from the SK lineup for where they can put their duo lane, which can really affect how Kuja and Heidal, or Heidal, I don't know how to pronounce the European names. I apologize to all you guys over there.
This could be interesting. If this is indeed the pick, we'll no, they're just trolling us. But they're thinking about their AP mid, so it's probably going to be a Zyra support. AP Yi, You've seen it a few times. I mean, it's a fun one. But
Katarina could be quite interesting here as well. They
huge.
don't have as much attack damage on their team until the late game when Vayne starts becoming the super hyper carry.
Yeah.
But Caitlyn on the other side, wow, Caitlyn could be very good, having a lot of extra range over the Vayne, able to get a little bit of poke down. We're going to have to see how all the swaps fall out and get the game started, however.
Yeah, because usually when you see Lulu come into play, you want an AD with a relatively large amount of poke. Ezreal being the standard go-to. Sometimes someone like Sivir can work, but Caitlyn works just as well, and that is a very dangerous lane. It's also a very big pushing-oriented lane also. So with that, and also whenever the Lulu comes in, you always have to factor in that there may be a lane swap situation. But I'm not going to hold my breath on it though, because usually because it's the Kayle. Kayle, granted, yes, she can range farm, and she does have that sustain. But pre-6 though, and we've seen a lot of teams go very, very aggressive for like quick level 3, level 4 turret dives very early on. And with the jungler like Lee Sin, Eclypsia can actually they actually have the comp to mobilize on it.
Yeah, I like the pick of SK going for that Lulu-Caitlyn combination. Caitlyn has a little bit of escape herself, but not the best as far as AD carries are concerned. But you stick Lulu into the mix, that's going to make things a little bit easier for her to escape, a little bit more sustainable, especially against I'm So Fresh's Lee Sin. That's where SK really had a lot of trouble earlier on, and they'll be able to compensate for that a little bit. Again, the main wild card for this match, everything that we're going to need to be looking for, is how Herkbot synergizes with the rest of the team. Is he going to be looking to counter jungle I'm So Fresh? Does he have some sort of plan with that? Or is he just going to be playing very standard because they haven't kind of figured out where they're going to have the good intake?
Herkbot's only got 3 games of ranked in for the new season. Xin and Rengar.
Yeah, keep in mind, everyone, that the servers have just reset. If you have not gone on, there's some pretty cool changes going on, as well as we are now officially in Season 3.
Yep.
So if you want to become a pro, definitely head out there and try to get your elo up so that you noticed.
I want to go back, though. I want to look at Season 2. I want to see what his stats are. They even on the list? Xin. Just the one.
One game?
Just the one. Rengar. Just the one. I just wanted to go back. I just wanted to go back and check and look. Let's see. Who's teleport on the Katarina. A little bit interesting. I mean, Katarina's pretty mobile already. I mean, she's got the Shunpo. She can clear quite a bit of distance already. And it's not too uncommon for Kat to have a presence on all the other lanes, but that teleport is going to be, her presence in other lanes is going to be a little bit higher than usual with that. It's interesting.
Yeah, if we take a look at the champions that they're looking for, the Eclipsia game plan is most likely going to be focused around that bottom lane. Yeah. Getting I'm So Fresh just a little bit of an advantage in the jungle, but then allowing Caitlyn to be able to teleport down, get Vayne fed as quickly as possible with that Zyra able to lock up anyone that is going to be their real target.
Yeah. Right now, my worry actually on SK is that they seem to be they seem to be betting a lot of their chips that Rengar is going to do well.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I see that for the mid game, that's going to give them a lot of buff control. But once they get into the late game, Ocelot should be able to carry with Orianna. She'll be able to take a lot of the farm, meaning that Rengar is not going to be as burdened to constantly go through his own jungle. Like, when your mid is able to take the wolves and take the wraiths out of your own jungle, that means that your jungler only needs to worry about golems and the buffs and then ganking lanes. With Rengar, he can go to a lane, he can wait there for 10, 20 seconds, and find that opportune moment to be able to come out of the bushes and actually get some damage done. But waiting that long for other junglers is sometimes a bad thing. That's when you're kind of going to fall behind. But with Rengar, that can kind of be balanced out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm also waiting for all those mid-game team fights, the first few like full 5-on-5 team fights, because we did an episode of Homework a while back, and we talked a little about Rengar and his place in the jungle and in top lane, and someone said, hey, you put him with Orianna. Orianna throws you around, you use the ult, and they call it the invisible vacuum, because he's just there, and all of a sudden, you get Dysoned.
That is not good, especially when you got a Katarina in the mix to kind of
Katarina
add the extra knives that will cut your finger up if you get stuck in the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, that's the thing though, is that once the initiation happens for SK with Rengar, everyone's going to try their best to collapse, and it is a very poke-oriented team. And you got Lulu, Caitlyn, Orianna. Those are all like poke-type champions. And there's a lot of champs over on Eclipsia that can close gaps very quickly. Jax, Katarina, and Lee Sin, given the right opportunity, can just make a beeline straight for the back. So it worries me. It concerns me, but we'll see how it goes. You never know. SK, they are one to surprise, and quite often.
That is very true. The one concern that I might have on their side is that once Katarina goes in for her ultimate, if Ocelot has already used all of his CC, he's going to have a trouble locking them down, and they don't have a whole lot of CC as far as the average team composition is concerned. So SK might be having a little bit of issues figuring out when to initiate, because if they burn any of their cooldowns too early, that will make it very difficult for them to counter any of the damage coming out from Heidel.
Yep. And you know, we've seen Ocelot on the Orianna before. I believe in the Ori. I believe in Ocelot. But for now, though, and I'm looking right now at Zyra over here on a ooh, quick harass going on in Ocelot. You're getting a little bit too curious here in the mid, already down to half. Yeesh.
Yeah, just a fun little poke.
It's a little rough. Just go back, get your Band-Aid, come on back.
They're already showing that the aggression's coming out. These guys have a grudge against each other. They want to be really aggressive with this. But one thing to notice here is that Heidel and Tabs, they've actually done a little bit of a role reversal here. Tabs is usually the AP carry for the team, and Heidel is usually the AD. But just seeing the different styles of these particular champions that they chose for this game, not too uncommon to have a flip in this regard.
Yeah. No, this is true. This is also the new Lulu skin too. I didn't even notice. You got a little dragon tamer going on.
It's gonna be fun.
Look at that dude.
It kind of looks like the dragons from How to Tame Your Dragon.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
It's a little friendly, a little scary at the same time. It's a nice little mix.
And the drill hair is a little well, it's drill hair. What are you gonna do?
So scratch him under the stomach and you
it's all good. It's like, oh, so adorable. Look at him.
So already Eclipsia doing a pretty good job in the information department. They have that ward by the enemy race. They're seeing exactly what Ocelot and Herkbot are doing. With that, they're going to be very comfortable to go for their red early for Lee Sin. They've got the AD, well, both teams have their ADs going for that bottom lane, so no lane swap going on. I'm always sad when that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
It's okay. It'll be an interesting matchup there top lane too. And I think from what I remember though, Jax actually does pretty well against Kayle. So I think no lane switch or not, I feel that Kayle would have been disadvantaged no matter what. So at the very least though, at least you're only going to have just the one Jax, not a very painful, very aggressive bot lane. But that support Zyra though, that is so much aggression coming in. And for a champ like Vayne to be paired up with that kind of CC, with the true damage, actually got the Silver Bolts level 2. Candy Panda taking quite a bit, being harassed down, forced to drink the potion, has to back off, already down to about 100. Look at that damage.
A lot of aggression coming out from Eclipsia. They thought they had a slight advantage because they were able to grab the golems. But if you take a look at the top lane, we've got tons of damage going in here. He's going to drop his Ignite relatively early, minimizing the amount of effect that Kevin's going to get from his healing potion, but not going to be any sort of kill potential going to be coming out right now. Going back on this bottom lane, however, Eclipsia, they didn't realize that Candy Panda and Nif were able to go and grab the wolves out from their jungle. They kind of took a page from the Najin Sword lineup where if you have your jungle go for your red side of the or jungler go for the red side of your jungle, it leaves the wolves available for your AD and your support to get a little bit of extra gold, a little bit of extra experience before they go into the lane. It makes it completely even, so that disadvantage that people were talking about a few months ago where the jungle on the blue side is much stronger because you have the ability to go for those golems, it gets counteracted completely. So they come into lane completely even. The jungler doesn't need to go to the right side of his jungle at all. He can grab his red buff, he can get the blue for his mid, or, well, yeah, in this case, he's probably just feeding it immediately to Ocelot, and then he can get started ganking immediately. Yeah,
and even then the forthcoming changes for Season 3, and the speed of the small golems is actually getting increased a little bit. So, yeah, it is recognizing it. Yeah, it's a little bit imbalanced, but at the very least, doubling on back, grabbing those wolves, make things a little bit more even. Got to pause here just for a second. Need to wait for Reconnect, see what's going on. Tons of damage. Tons of damage is actually we got Yunbuck in here in this game, so he's got we got him using an ult here.
That will be interesting to do, and because this is just a show match, we don't have a whole lot of pressure on what the lineups these guys are doing. If they want to change things up, they want to bring in a sub and try things out,
why not?
We're perfectly okay with that. We just want to see some really awesome League of Legends action going down.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get their confusion resolved quickly because I do want to see Herkbot play at his peak potential. I don't want him to fall behind just because he got disconnected early on.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a live environment. Connections happen, may not happen here or there. Let's rewind real quick though, and actually just a quick 15 seconds while we're waiting for the pause to come back in. And right before the pause, we had I'm So Fresh go in for the blue Wraith, and immediately Hercbot recognizes as he comes on in. Actually, the Wraith full on reset actually before he actually gets to the camp. So he has no clue on how long it's been since I'm So Fresh is actually in the camp.
Yeah, that's going to be a little interesting to see what he does in response to this.
Yeah.
It does give them a little bit of idea that, hey, Lee Sin was in your jungle. We don't know where he is from this point on. So maybe he's grabbing his blue because he has not done that yet. Or maybe he's going to gank top lane, which from the godlike observers that we are,
yes,
we see that he's headed up to that top lane. He's going to try to do a quick run by it, try to keep Kevin as low as possible. But it's going to be interesting to see how this goes down, seeing as Kevin, it looks like he's about to hit level 3. Once he does, he's going to have a little bit more ability to escape from what's going to be happening.
Right, but ultimately, though, for the Kayle, the sweet spot is level 6. Once you get the ult, once you're invulnerable. But until then, though, it's a decent slow coming in from the queue. But for someone as for a duo so mobile as Jackson Lee Sin, it does become a little bit difficult, and we see a lot of teams actually starting to favor that pairing of the top lane and jungle. Most notably, M5 loves to run Jax and Lee Sin, the super bros, as you will.
The masters of the universe.
Masters of the universe.
One's got 9 eyes, the other's got 0.
They are the double dragons. They are. It's just
nice little high five.
Nice little that high five action. Yeah. What was it? We were over. We were not too long ago having a party with the rest of the IPL guys, and we were actually playing Double Dragon.
The new one, though.
The new one.
So it's not the old style. Now they're doing.
And we were just
was it disco and stuff?
it was so 80s, and we were just freaking out. I was like, holy crap! There's a high five function in this game. This is awesome.
There's also a way to make your ally think he's going to go for a high five,
and then deny him.
Have him roll off a cliff, because that's what happened to me. I was not too happy.
I remember that.
That was the end of me playing that game.
Yeah, and then we had dinner. It was like, oh well, yeah, this is standard Double Dragon. Okay, let's have dinner. So still waiting to see the internet connection just a little bit too strong here.
Yeah, unfortunately, a little too early in the game to kind of say which lane is doing better. They're all pretty much even, only apart by 3 minion kills at the most. Well, yeah. Technically it's 4 if you look at Vayne versus Cat or Kate.
It's only one. It's only one. It's still very early. It's too early to tell. But after this pause ends, like we mentioned before, there may be that havoc there in the top lane with Lee Sin coming on up. So, in the meantime, though, Hercbot, he left us as he was discovering those raids, but he should be back in just a little bit.
Yeah, if he comes back and they have a little bit of time to discuss what's going to be going on.
Yeah.
There's actually a potential for Hercbot to immediately go for the enemy blue. He's going to have his smite back up in a little bit. He could take that out really quickly, and because of the innate abilities of Rengar, he is actually able to evade away from Lee Sin a little bit if he takes the right path getting out of the jungle. So if he goes in, grabs the blue from Lee Sin as Lee Sin's going for a gank top, which is most likely not going to work, seeing as tons of damage has already used his ignite. They're not going to have an ignite available to take down Kevin. They'll definitely be able to push him out of lane a little bit, but if they can't get that kill and Rengar goes to steal their blue, that will be a win overall for SK.
Yeah, but there is the matter of this one.
That is true.
So they're gonna. Well, here's the thing though. They're gonna see him leave to actually go on into the river. But that's the thing, he has plenty of options to go. He may be looking for, gank, or what he doesn't know quite yet until now, a counter gank up top. He could go for mid, but he could also be going for that blue. So there's 3 assumptions that Eclipsia can make. It's just a matter of will they pick the right one. Or he could, yeah.
Hopefully they take the one that brings the most action as quickly as possible, because it is a little bit early in the morning here for us in America, and the more action we get, it kind of replaces the need for coffee. It just gets us pumped up.
Well, we're still gonna have coffee anyway, but I mean,
yeah, but not for a few hours.
Not for
we gotta keep playing League first.
We got taking
a look at the items in the bottom lane, Zyra has actually not gotten for any permanent items available. Is this a normal trend that we're starting to see on Zyra?
Well, with many aggressive-oriented supports, one of the telltale signs that you know that they're going to be looking to push, looking to spam abilities, is when they pick up the mana potion instead of the fairy charm. It's a little bit faster regen over time, and you're going to be keeping the lane relatively pushed for most of the game. So it's not going to be too much of an issue to actually just go take some time back and get the charm when you have the money. But it hasn't been quite working out for them because actually, as you can see on the mini map here, they're actually being pressured at their own tower. So the plan hasn't exactly been fleshing out as they'd like to. But with many supports like Zyra, Sona, sometimes even Soraka, if you're the pushing-oriented kind, where you decide to actually put like 2 points quick into Star Call just to get the lane pushed, those kinds of supports you'll actually see that pretty commonly on.
Do you think this is a case of going for that push-heavy idea to just counteract the Lulu? So, like, yes, they're not pushing up right now, but that's maybe being counteracted by them having that ability to quote-unquote push.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just counter-pushing and keeping it even.
I definitely think that's what they're going for. But as we mentioned, it's just not quite working because Lulu, though, it is one of the most aggressive pushers in the game. And if you can, as Zyra, get off that quick vine, you can get that kill. You can secure it. Vayne has plenty of innate damage, but you got to accept the fact that also sometimes you're not going to land every single vine. You are not the world's perfect support. Nobody is. Nobody is. Not even Buddy. But the thing is, though, having that extra mana potion gives you more attempts, and it keeps you in the game. It keeps you in the lane longer. So hopefully you may get that opportunity. You do land the one bind you want, and you do get that kill. It just gives you more options, more time, and also leaves room a little bit for you to make a few more mistakes than you normally would.
And those options are definitely going to help them out in a little bit. We saw a little bit of aggression happening at level 1. Tabs had not quite hit level 2 yet, whereas Candy Panda had just hit it when they went in for the aggression. If that had not happened, that might have been the aggression into the kill that we were looking for. But, well, yeah, let's take a look at the chat and see what they're doing.
First game with Hercbot. Bench him. Ouch. Ouch. That's harsh, man. That's real harsh. It's not even, it's the internet, man. It happens.
Yeah, this is one concern for a lot of new teams that are coming out is you're dealing with home internet. Sometimes you got a good connection, but it's not necessarily stable if you're in a residential area. As teams start to get their gaming houses, get their professional offices almost, they're starting to take their business, which is playing this game, make it a little bit more stable, make it so that a lot of the variables are removed. So bear with everyone as esports is continuing to grow. The teams are some teams are lagging a little behind other teams, but once they get put together properly, this is going to be really awesome. Moving into 2013 with Riot Season 3, with all the other cool stuff with IPL and ESL and DreamHack and everything else that's growing bigger and bigger. It's just getting more and more awesome. So.
I remember I was watching Who's League yesterday, and just the talks. And we know Curse.NA already has their mansion. I'm excited to see Curse EU get.
They have a frat house.
So you got a frat, yeah. Well, let's face it, it's a frat house. But I mean, it is what it is. But still, though, it is still a house with everyone together on the same internet.
Yep.
And this is something not a lot of teams have, unfortunately. But as we move into Season 3, it will change. It will change. It's gonna be. It can only get better from here.
Absolutely, but it's also what is that target time for trying to find the peak performance? Because when you see with any sort of new housing environment, like.
Tons of damage thinking about us. They'll have. Well, we're gonna have to talk about random stuff for 20 minutes. Hey,
this is not random. This is all esports.
Well, we did talk about Double Dragon though.
Oh, true. Well, that's esports too. It's
Double Dragon, new esports.
IPL Double Dragon pod coming soon.
We got it. It was kind of funny because we were actually talking in the office because a lot of us here we actually play Magic the Gathering a lot. And I was like, dude, we should just have a Magic the Gathering pod, just do stream tournaments and stuff like that for mid-go. That'd be great.
Don't release our secrets.
Hey, I'm hoping. One day I'm hoping, crossing my fingers. Or anything, just an excuse for me to play Magic at work, really. Just like this is just the grand scheme to have us play LoL at work.
Is that what it was?
Well, it is. Well, it was.
Huh. Okay. I didn't realize that. I came in here and actually played less League of Legends. Now that I'm more involved.
Well, well, that's the thing, though, is that as time goes on, we've actually man, the opportunities for me to play just get lesser and lesser. I only got a chance to play one ranked game last night, just to try and kickstart my elo again.
I was able to play 2. One win, 1 loss. Not exactly what I was looking for, but it was ranked 5, so not entirely my fault. Maybe just a little bit.
Well, that's the #1 rule in ranked, is that if you lose, it's never your fault.
Oh yeah, of course.
Ever.
I won the first game, so that naturally put me against people that are just way out of my league.
Yeah, we had was it the one? Well, the one I eventually got to play after about 5 Q dodges of people just being jerks, and chat's blown up, man.
Yeah, let's just leave it on so you guys
let's just
you can
leave
hear
it
us
on.
talking about random topics, quote unquote, or you can read whatever the Eclipsia guys are saying as well.
Okay, we this is, well, the remake option is available. This is before the 5-minute mark. No kills have actually happened. So in all reality, the remake is actually possible. So we'll see how much longer this goes on for, and we'll see if we actually end up considering it. But
yeah, here, like, because this is a weekly tournament, it's not any sort of like, this is not a prize that they're going to be getting $10,000 and a chance to fly to IPL, which then gets them a chance to get into Season 3. This is something where we're here to have fun. We're here to show some awesome League of Legends, but just trying to find the middle ground for everyone. If they want to start a new game, it's up to the players. We'll try to mediate it if it comes down to it. But all options are on the table. We'll do whatever makes the most sense.
Tournament rules, standard will allow it. Got plenty of time. We'll just see, and I just hope I hope everything is actually going okay with Perkbot and his connection and his computer and so on and so forth.
Yeah, for anyone that might be just tuning in, this is the first round of a 4-team Royale that we're putting together here. The first place prize is $500 US, winner take all.
Hooray!
So I guess $100 for each player. He has reconnected, but he reconnected before. So
he reconnected, but he has not reconnected yet on TeamSpeak. So we need to wait for the rest of SK to confirm. Oh yeah, can you tell him where Lee Sin is, by the way?
Lee Sin is currently in the top jungle.
No. Lee Sin is currently in the bathroom.
Oh, right.
He's having a little bit of trouble. His breakfast burrito didn't quite go down as well, and he's totally not in the area in which we were totally talking about 5 minutes ago.
Approaching 15 minutes ago now. Okay, so there was I was just at Lone Star Clash this past weekend.
Yeah.
And there was a potential that this timer was going to run out for one of the games.
I remember.
Have you ever seen it run out to 0? What happens?
It unpauses. It just
unpauses and you go?
Yeah, when the timer eventually does run out, it unpauses. You can't pause again, and it just goes.
Huh, okay. Not too bad.
It's not
for us. So we know we're going to see action in 15 minutes.
Regardless.
At least.
Yeah. Well, if nothing is ideal, if Perkbot is still having issues past then, I believe the option is open for the remake, and we in a situation like this, we allow us first up and things like that. But yeah, clearly connecting to TeamSpeak takes a little bit
of aggression coming out there from Tabs. Friendly rivalries, I guess you would say.
Some friendly stabs back and forth there. But yeah, it's like we said before, it's a live environment, connections, things do happen, unfortunately. But let's actually take a look, a little bit of a further dive though into Eclipsia, because as we mentioned a while back, they used to be 2 separate teams, Solaris and Luna, but not too long ago they said, like, you know, let's just focus on one team, let's just get the one team down first before we dive back in for a second team. And the current lineup though is pretty damn solid.
It definitely is. They did a great job at Tails Lane. They took 2nd place, but to get to that final place match, they did amazingly in the bracket.
Let's actually take a look at the whole brackets for Tails of the Lane, because I was only catching bits and pieces of the tournament, and pretty much I saw a few games of grand finals. I saw a little bit of the semis, and I also saw the casters with their awesome booth and dancing Gangnam Style. That's about all I caught.
Well, if you want to see one of the fastest pro matches ever, definitely check out Eclipsia versus SK.
Yeah.
That was one of the semifinals matches, which got them into the finals.
Yeah, I think it's the, I want to say this, either the 2nd or 3rd fastest pro match for league period. Because I know, I think we may actually still hold the record for fastest. It was Dignitas, and I can't remember who else is like 13 minutes. Dignitas just left.
All right, I'm gonna need to dig that one up and
I can't remember who it is.
Now we're actually approaching the 13-minute remaining mark on this pause timer. You know what? These guys would have been able to remake, and Eclipsia, if they played exactly like they did in the semifinals, would have been able to win in this time.
How about that? How about that?
Now we just shot ourselves in the foot. This is going to be a 50 minute
Yeah, now
game.
it's going to take 50 minutes, and it's just going to be back and forth, and wait until, you know, it's going to be like 7 Barons later. We'll see, though. But let's look at the match stats from Tales of the Lane, and they were in a really rough group. I mean, M5, Curse EU, MYM, and of course, you know, I Want Cookie, the new upstarts here.
Yeah, the new upstarts, but already showing some really good promise. They've got some good names on their lineup, but yeah, Eclipsia, they did go 2-2 in group, fell to M5, but were able to take a game off Curse EU. That game gave them the ability to get a pretty good seed when it moved into the group stages. Or not the group stages, excuse me, the bracket stage, where they were able to take down Mouse 2-0 and then take down SK 2-0, move into the finals, go 2-1 in the grand final. So Eclipsia, like we were talking about before, relatively new organization, but already showing some amazing plays.
Back in the game, I'm So Fresh continuing on up here in the top lane, looking for the slow down onto KLQ backwards. Kevin barely going to be making it out there with 50 health. Meanwhile, bot lane, Candy Panda with the shield from Lulu wants to stay healthy, about 200 health still hanging around here, but now Herkbot, Rengar making his presence here in the top lane, just waiting for I'm So Fresh. He knows he's here, he knows he's hunting around, and there's also still an active Caitlyn trap here in the top lane, and now Kevin is having it. Damn it! Why? First one, now the other.
Yeah, so that gank attempt was extremely effective. Not quite able to pick off the kill. They did use the ignite earlier on.
Yeah. Now Eclipsia is recognizing we could have won by now.
I might have been listening to the stream. That's not too good. If you guys actually do want to check out the first-person views of any of these players, I believe they're all streaming at the same time. So pull up any of their streams at the same time. You can see what they're doing. You can hear some of them rage every once in a while. You can maybe hear them figure out what's going on with their team speak, trying to get that working. But yeah, SK should be streaming. I believe some of the Eclipsia players are streaming as well. So support everyone you can. The more support people get, the bigger these things get for the future.
Basically, the more viewers these guys get on their streams, the more ad revenue they make. The more ad revenue they make, the more they can play.
Oh, it's not about the money. It's about the fans.
And the fans. It is about the fans. Well, but basically, the more ad revenue they make, the longer they can stream, and the longer they can stream, that means fan matches.
That is true, and we got an unpause coming here. Herkbot is extremely close to I'm So Fresh. Both junglers able to kind of focus on this top lane. They want a lot going down, but like you were talking about in the bottom lane, Lulu's being extremely aggressive. Kuja's being pushed out, but Vayne able to pick Nif, or push Nif against the wall. This is going to be the first blood going down on Nif. He does fall to the ignite. That is Zyra's ignite, or not Zyra's. Whoa.
Oh, and Zyra does actually...
Zyra picks up the kill. She falls to Caitlyn.
Teleport.
However. Teleport coming down from Heidal. Are they going to be able to
Can he reach? I don't think he can reach, though. Oh, teleport wasted, unfortunately, on an attempt. Just tried to get the Candy Panda down here in the bot lane, but just could not clear the gap. Did not teleport quickly enough. And there's a bit of a lost opportunity, but Candy Panda still gets a little aggressive despite having the ward in the brush. It also goes in, baits out the heal, but Tabs, no, the flash away. Summoner heal too strong. Candy Panda gets away from that one. Now 2-0-0, has tons of gold to spend. Great plays coming in from SK.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an oversight from Eclipsia. They went very aggressive. They thought they had the advantage. They thought this was like the games from Tales of the Lane where they already had a couple of kills lead. But now Heidal's coming back to the mid lane, going to do a little bit of damage to Ocelot, dodging the ball, but that ball is there for preventing the escape route. He's going to need to back off, but the junglers are coming in from the side with Kuja there as well. Kuja can get a single stun. Oh, a beautiful flash from Ocelot. That's going to be burnt for later on, but that's going to keep him alive for right now.
Yep. And also keep in mind, though, that all the time Heidal spent down in bot lane, that is free farm. Free farm time for Ocelot there in the mid. He had the wave pretty decently pushed. Now Heidal is pushing back just a little bit, but Herkbot laying in wait on the side brush. Ping going down. He acknowledges he's there. Heidal with the Shunpo. His escape is now gone. does not have the flash either. I'm So Fresh running interference, wants to get the slow. Ocelot getting very low, and that is the kill. Is the Ignite going to be enough to take down Heidel? No, it will not be. The junglers are now left to their own devices here in the mid. Hergbot also getting very low, forcing the flash out. Not sure if that was necessary, but he used it. Hey, it was his call. He made it. He's still safe down here in the mid.
A very exciting game going on so far. 5.5 minutes into the game. 2-2, even gold, but Tabs is rotating to the mid. If he's going to go in on this dive, this could be an instant kill here. That is going to be another one. Hergbot going down. They're going to be able to escape out from there and able to do a lot of damage onto this mid turret.
There are big plays down bot for SK, but now Eclipsia coming back, getting their aggression in the mid. Lee Sin does not care if he's behind tower. He will go in for that kill anyway. Very well done. Very well coordinated by Eclipsia. Meanwhile, top lane, Kayle starting to get a little beefy. Does have that first Doran's Blade, and that is one of the advantages of Kayle, is that ranged harass coming on in. Tons of damage. Being the heat is turned on certainly while he's under tower, and actually forcing out the flash. 1 or 2 more attacks we've actually done it, and Kale's actually continuing the chase, forcing Jax back down towards his bot tier 2. But meanwhile, Kayle does not know, but Kevin is being collapsed upon by the rest of EC.
He knows now he does have an Ignite available to him. If he can get anywhere within range of tons of damage, he might be able to trade his life for his, but it's not going to happen. That's going to be the assassination. Heidel gets the kill. No supports going around. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Candy Panda and Nift starting to push up. Those double Doran's Blades coming out from Candy Panda, able to help them push ridiculously. But a couple plants are kind of hanging them up a little bit, snaring them
just a little
Kuja
bit.
Taking so much damage. Sub 20 health there for him. He's going to be able to get out just barely. Pops a few potions just so that he doesn't have any sort of surprises come against him.
Yeah.
But he's going to be able to get away. Nice job from Eclipsia. What looked like things were starting to go into SK's control is going to be flipping right back around because of Eclipsia's aggression is starting to take.
Yeah. The gold though is the gold is very frequent here on both teams. Very active, but still only about a 500 gold difference. So nothing really to write home about, but the fact that the gold leads are fluctuating back and forth with such great plays really speaks to both of these teams, how skilled they are. But it's just a matter of which team will eventually get more of these ganks, get more of these dives. And you got Candy Panda front loading some damage down onto Vayne, keeping tabs in check. You may not want to go for these creeps because I have the health lead on you, but Kuja back from death now here, back from near death, coming now back into the lane. But the rest, look at this gank squad from Eclipsia. They want Nif before he gets back into lane. There is Katarina with the ult, has the assist, has the reset, double kill for Heidel. And now Eclipsia taking the gold lead convincingly here in bot lane. 4-man push down bot. Are they going to take the tower? They could if they want to, but Dragon is up and juicy, waiting for them when they're done.
Yeah, beautiful gank attempt there, or gank succession there. 4v2, they were able to take him down. This is going to be a lot of damage on the bottom turret. Rengar is going to be coming down to try to say something about it. It's also leaving the mid lane completely open, but Ocelot is not pushing this. He doesn't know where anyone is at the moment. Yeah. There was enough time for Heidel to actually get back to mid lane if that's where they were going, so he doesn't want to be too aggressive. He doesn't want to make the same mistake that he made last time, and that's going to allow a decent Dragon attempt here. It does go down 8 minutes 50 seconds into the game. 6-2, a great lead for Eclipsia at the moment. Hergbot's coming down here as well. He's going to take a little bit of damage, be pushed away even further, but it looks like Lee Sin almost got caught in the Dragon Pit. Going to be able to get out there, however.
But there's still a bit of confusion here over around the Dragon, because I don't think SK has actually cleared the mark yet, but they do recognize that EC's still screwing around up in their jungle. Lee Sin, along with his Katarina, spotted up there in the top part of the jungle.
So if we take a little bit of a look at the items, Eclipsia's, even though their composition was a little focused on the early aggression, their itemization is a little bit focused on staying a little bit more survivable.
Yes.
Katarina is going for that Negatron cloak. She's going to be able to mitigate some of the damage coming out from Ocelot's Orianna. But we got so many Doran's items coming from SK. That's going to give them a little bit of a power right now, even though Dragon's down. So they really need to push this lead if they want to have any sort of advantage in the mid game. If you look at Vayne, she grabbed a Ninja Tabby. This is something that we're seeing out of the ADs from Eclipsia a lot, where they get that early movement speed, they get a little bit of extra trading potential, and then they have that ability to kind of roam around as necessary. We're seeing Vayne go for a little bit of her own jungle just to get a little bit more money as well. Yep. Seeing as that SK's bottom lane is very afraid to get into any sort of aggression. That's outside of the defense of their turret.
Yeah, SK, if they're going to be going for harass, they want it on their own terms. And the Ninja Tabby does negate that a little bit, recognizing that if you're just going for a straight-out poke war, Eclypsia is going to lose it. But once you get the support in, though, from the roaming mid and from the jungle, things are absolutely a different story. You got a little bit of damage to plants from Zyra, double seed. Herkbot, though, he is on the side. He was not spotted going into the bush, and he also has the ultimate available, but you also got I'm So Fresh in the river waiting for the counter gank. He knows something's up. Bind going down onto Candy Panda. Herkbot still in the brush. There is the bullet strike down, but the condemn will not be enough to prevent the kill onto Zyra. Pop up from the ult, still active. Oh, Caitlyn had no choice, needs to get the hell out of there, is hugging that tower as much as possible. Taps pop the ultimate, but cannot get a kill on anything. Quick kill for SK down in the bot. Meanwhile, top lane, ultimate on Jax has been procced, wants to hunt down Kevin. He may not have enough damage though. Ocelot finding Heidal as he was making his way down to the bot lane, but here is Lee Sin. Can he catch up? He is mobile, but can he actually get to the Orianna? No.
A lot of aggression all around. SK doing a great job of juggling the damage in this bottom lane. Able to pick up the one kill, keep everyone else alive. However, Heidal's teleport is back off cooldown. If any of these lanes overextend even slightly, that could be some scariness coming out of them. Lee Sin looping around. I'm So Fresh just doing exactly what he's known for. Able to keep the pressure on the lanes. He does get spotted, however, from that trap in the bushes. So that's going to give SK just a little bit of a heads up. They're going to be able to get away from this one. But you got to keep in mind that turret is extremely low. The dragon's already down, so there's not really anything for Eclipsia to worry about defending. They could kind of start pushing any lane that they really want. It looks like the aggression that they're going to be going for right now is in the mid lane.
Lee Sin off on the side. Heidal getting ulted by Orianna, but immediately Shutfire out, gets the distance clear she needs. Ignite going down, not going to be enough for the kill, but there is Lee Sin. Wants to connect. Does get the slow. He's like, you know what, let's just clear this wave. Let's just keep this thing going. We also have been noticing there's a lot of roaming. Heidal's been doing a ton of roaming. And in order to try and counteract that, Ocelot, he's not really roaming along with her. He's staying in the mid lane. He's farming up, just trying to keep the lead. And then creep-wise, he's doing very well. He's 25 creeps up. Gold-wise, not so much. Well. Yeah. not so much.
Only down by 800. It's not something that they can't recover from, but 12.5 minutes into this game, we're already seeing a 2,500 gold lead for Eclipsia. They were able to take down that dragon. They're able to put down a lot of damage onto the turrets, which is not reflected in the scoreboard. So Eclipsia in a great position at the moment. What do you think SK is going to need to do to come back from this?
Exactly what they're doing now, trying to catch people off guard, trying to single someone out, but hopefully not losing some of your own teammates in the process. Kevin forced to use the ult to keep himself from death, tons of damage, being focused down 2v1 over by the red. We're going to go down bot lane and take a look at that in just a second, but Jax leaps over the wall, is able to get out. I'm So Fresh caught in the ward. Herkbot can't pursue. He's got the ultimate up. Can he make it? 1, 2 quick Qs. Getting the
quick
kill
Qs, and now he's got the red buff taken from his jungle. He's going to be going after tons of damage, but just able to use the last bit of mana to be able to get away. He's going to be safe.
Good.
Let's take a look at
what went down in bot lane while we were chasing all of that action. You had Candy Panda and Nif out a little bit too far in lane. Vayne and Zyra not too far behind. They're looking for damage in the tower, recognizing immediately that they cannot keep this going. There's a teleport also for Katarina, all according to plan. Perfect. That is the perfect timing on the teleport when you need to use it. Wonderful 2 quick kills there for Eclipsia.
Yeah, SK playing their game decently well, but they're not adapting to the Eclipsia style that they've got going on. So much aggression, that teleport able to come out from anywhere. SK just needs to be a little bit more defensive in these situations, but they're overextending too much, giving some free kills here and there, and the kills that they are able to convert are not able to counterbalance it that well.
Heidal in the bush, gonna be seeing SK actually roam back up. Ward in there, gonna force him out. Very good placement. I'm So Fresh though, not content with just stealing the enemy blue, but has to take his own also. Enemy red, he's taking his own. And Ocelot's still hanging out in the mid, wants to push the lane, wants to keep his farm up, but even then with that double down in bot lane, the gold lead for Katarina over Orianna has extended even further.
And as Dragon's about to spawn here, we see all 5 members of Eclipsia coming down. They're going to try to convert on this. 4 players of SK are there. Kale is not in the vicinity whatsoever. She has no way of getting down here. She's going to need to push her lane extremely hard, and tons of damage, doing a great job of zoning out Orianna. If they keep Orianna away, there's not a whole lot that SK can really do to take the dragon. So we see the second dragon of the game going to Eclipsia 15 minutes into the game, pretty much for free.
Yeah. And Kevin, in order to capitalize, in order for him to make the most out of the situation where he has a lane alone to his own, he has to take out that turret, but it is way too healthy. The dragon was taken far too long ago, and you see Eclipsia, they're straddling in between lanes.
And that straddling is not what they want to have happen. 4 players of SK able to come together and pull the trigger on this mid turret. Something that you don't see a whole lot. Like, we saw that Eclipsia was like, oh, our top turret's in danger. Let's start to head up there. Yeah. But that little bit of indecision is what allowed SK to take an advantage there. Yeah. Grabbing that mid turret is going to give them a lot of ground control. It's going to give them the ability to come back for that third dragon in a little while if they don't lose any more needless kills.
And one of the big cues on why they took that mid turret is they saw the big wave down bot and they saw Vayne not with the team. It's like, okay, their one of their biggest damage dealers not here. We can go in on this. Ultimate just being used by Cat just for some harass down onto Orianna there in the mid, forcing out that flash. That's going to be down for later. Tons of damage, looking to push back here onto Kevin. Rengar and Lee Sin both here, and I gotta say, I'm.So.Fresh's presence has been great so far. Kevin is ignited.
He is ignited, and this is a dive potential going on. Both I'm.So.Fresh and Tons of Dams have a decent amount of health, but Hercbot able to push them away. They're gonna need to get out. Nice. Ocelot coming in, using the ultimate to keep him just in a little bit longer. Are they gonna be able to convert this into a double kill?
Kevin very low, but still manages to live. Tons of damage. Yes, Ocelot throwing those gears backwards, manages to take that kill. So that is a 2 for free to try and exchange for those earlier kills down bot. But Candy Panda still in the vines, uses the summoner heal just to get away. Pop up down onto Nif. True damage from the bolts. Condemned does not quite hit the wall, forcing out the wild growth, but still going to be enough. Tabs popping the ultimate. Candy Panda tumbling behind a turret will be safe. Double kill for the Vayne. Very well done by Eclypsia.
Beautiful job by Kuja to hold that tower aggro just long enough so that so that Tabs could get in there and pick up that double kill. That's going to counteract exactly what was going on in the top lane. Every time SK seems like they're making good plays, they're leaving themselves open in some other lane. They need to kind of compensate, where if they're going to be aggressive one place, they need to kind of pull back a little bit somewhere else. Yeah. It seemed like they were in a safe spot, but we've seen so many times that Tabs and Kuja are very good at just getting behind the enemy target, doing tons of damage, knowing when they can go in. And we're seeing it once again. A full health Ocelot coming in against less than half health. Kuja and Tabs going down to them.
Flash tumble, OP. Tabs knows his way around a Vayne. Just there's nothing that Ocelot could have done. His positioning left him in prime position to get condemned against the wall. The stun a bit too strong, and even then an aggressive support like Zyra still pumping out damage this late into the game. Wonderful, wonderful plays. And granted, yeah, it is a very big part about the man distribution here on SK, where they need to allocate their resources. But however they pressure a lane, Lee Sin very mobile. Katarina with the teleport. Eclipsia is there, and they can respond immediately.
They can respond immediately, and the items that they're building are very tailored to this aggressive style. If you look at Zyra, a little bit of a different build than you normally see from his support. A lot of AP, a lot of gold per 5.
Maybe we could be seeing in the Athenes, actually.
We could see in the Athenes. We could also see maybe some other items there.
DFG.
Not a Deathfire Grass. Well, that's most likely not going to be coming out.
You may. If the game goes late enough. I mean, if we have, well, like we were talking about before, we've used so much time in the pause. This game has to go to 50 minutes, right?
Yeah, 45 I'd be happy with.
Idol there in the mid, getting some free daggers down into Ocelot. I'm.So.Fresh making his way here in the mid. Tier 1 in mid for SK is very low, less than 500 health. A few quick punches right to the jaw of that statue will be able to take it down. He got the counter-strike up on Jax, wants to keep Kevin behind. His ultimate is up. I think Jax is trying to force him, but meanwhile you have the blue being taken here. Tabs grabbing it up for himself. And right now, Eclypsia has control of SK's jungle, and that's got to be a very annoying thing for SK to deal with. Idol going in with the Shunpo, a little bit of free damage, forcing everyone from SK out of their own home.
Yeah, Tabs and Kuja showing that they've got some extremely good synergy. Tabs running in here with that blue buff, he's able to tumble just a little bit faster.
Nice!
That's going to be a snare, that's going to be a kill onto Caitlyn. The wild growth is not enough to keep him alive. They're going to follow it up, trying to go for Nif, not quite able to juggle the tower damage like they did last time, so Tabs taking a little bit of extra damage. If that had been going on I'm.So.Fresh instead of Tabs, another kill would have gone into to Eclipsia's favor, but they're going to be going in. They don't care what's going on. SK Ocelot falling to Lee Sin, but not before taking down Vayne. Nif going to be forced out of the fight as well. 20 minutes into this game, we see Eclipsia in SK's base. Already able to take down, or at least put on a ton of damage to this inhibitor turret. Meanwhile, tons of damage in the top lane, just keeping Kevin busy. All he's trying to do is make sure that he's not able to join up with the rest of the team, and that's going to allow them to continue to push this down. They recognize what lanes are having the advantage, and they're pushing those lanes specifically while compensating in the other lanes properly.
Yep. And even if something does go south elsewhere, like we mentioned before, at least in mobile, Katarina teleport. Katarina can actually just teleport up here, up top lane, giving the opportunity and just try and take Kayle straight out. The ult is already down, so that could be an attempt, but will be left to his own devices. Kevin taking the tier 1 in top while losing the inhibitor turret in base.
At 21 minutes in, we're seeing a 6-kill lead for Eclipsia. They've got almost 6,000 gold lead, however. 3 turrets to 2. Not that much of a difference in the numbers, but you got to realize that all 3 of those turrets for the that are down for SK are in the same lane. That means it's an open inhibitor. There's a teleport Katarina on play. At any point, she could go and backdoor them if SK's out of position. Yeah,
basically, an open inhibitor makes it very risky for SK to make any huge objective-based plays for i.e. like pushing down another lane, trying to go for Dragon, or even Baron. So if SK tries to sneak a Baron and Eclipsia knows, like, well, that's fine. By the way, we're taking your inhib.
Yep.
Have fun with that.
And usually you try to get the Baron so that you are able to take an inhibitor, but if they're just trading it straight out, all they have to do is delay for 4 minutes without losing too much, and they'd be in pretty decent shape.
And they're still in great shape,
It looks like SK is kind of converging for their first Dragon attempt. However, 4 players of Eclipsia are there, but Tabs is going to fall immediately. That's going to give the red buff to Herkbot. That's going to give them a little bit of an advantage here. This might be SK's chance to come back into this game.
Tabs has been the big player right now for Eclipsia, but it looks like the rest of them are getting caught. Kuja going down immediately. Heidel looking for damage, wants to make the best of the situation. Jax, pretty well fed, can clean up fights though. That is one of his fortes, but he cannot, as much as he'd like to, do a 5v1. Katarina cannot get away either. Wonderful fight for SK. All started with catching out Tabs. He is the big carry. He is the big damage dealer. All that true damage. And with that out of the picture, SK can clean up these fights. And now finally that Kevin is making his presence here with the rest of the team.
Yeah, that is the biggest factor in this change here now, is that that's the first time that SK was able to group up as 5 and push.
Yes.
When Kevin's in the fight, he's able to drop his ultimate on who needs it. They're able to juggle damage even more nicely or more intelligently. So we saw so many players of SK dropping down to critical levels of health, but it didn't matter. They stayed alive, they got into the position they needed to, and they were able to pick off 4 players of Eclipsia without losing a single person, grabbing the Dragon immediately after. That's bringing that gold lead down to half of what it was before, only 3,023 minutes into the game.
It is still a decent gold lead, though, to be had at this point in the game. Eclipsia, that's basically, everybody gets one. You get one. That was your one free screw-up. If you do it again, you're going to be losing your gold lead. You may be losing more. If that
maybe the Western teams, you get one free screw-up in a game. But if you play on the Korean side, you better not be screwing up at any point throughout the game, or you're going to lose.
Yeah, you get none. You may as well just leave. You may as well just leave the game at that point. But at this point, though, the Eclipsia has made enough of a lead for themselves where they could afford just the one.
Absolutely, they're in a pretty decent position still. Just that's a little bit of a wake-up call that they cannot get out of position at all. Tabs can get run down. He's only got a summoner heal available to him that he can be a little bit defensive with, so he's going to need to use that intelligently. He's going to need to be with his team to get maximum effectiveness from that. But right now, once again, they're making the same mistake. It's a 4v5 situation. Kuja gets caught. He's going to get eliminated. He uses his ultimate to kind of delay everyone else, but that's another shot in the hole against Tabs. He's going to be forced out of this fight. He's going to have to head back to the fountain. It's a 5v3 situation now.
Yes, that was the picture-perfect invisible vacuum that we were talking about in Champ Select. And I didn't even think about using the Lulu ult in conjunction with that, too. That is very awesome. Very creative. I like it. I hope that they can, if SK wants to come back to this game, they have to continue to do that once all these ults are up, because that was a picture-perfect engage. SK may very well get the tier 2 in mid along with it also.
And I like the long-range sniping ability from Candy Panda, just able to keep the poke damage up. If anyone gets too low on Eclipsia, they're going to be taken out. So great team synergy here from SK. It wasn't really designed around that early game, but it didn't need to be. They're already starting to come back into this game. 2,000 gold now of a lead for Eclipsia, not much at all. The later this game goes, the less of that lead is going to matter. And unless Tabs can get super fed, it's going to be very difficult for Eclipsia to get a foothold in the game again.
Yep, and even if Tabs does get super duper fed, he got caught out before. That could very well happen again. So we'll have to see. And also, now you have the ward control. Now you have the oracles here picked up by Nif. Granted, I'm So Fresh has one also. So now you have the arms race who can get rid of that oracles first. And that's the danger though of putting the oracles on the jungler, is that there's more of a risk to lose it at inopportune times, because Lee Sin, he's gonna be in the middle of all of these fights anyway. If he dies, that's gold that has to be rerouted over. Kuja's going to have to buy one for himself just to keep that vision up. Bind going down on the Candy Panda, but everyone from SK doing the body block, making sure Lee Sin cannot get in there. Ocelot with the orb, looking for vision. Eclipsia looking to push back here. But Katarina, all the way back at base, needs to hurry up.
Yeah, a lot of gold in the SK pockets. They don't want to get into a fight quite yet. Rule of thumb is if you got a lot of gold in your pocket, don't engage. And taking a look at the arms race that you were talking about before, if we look at Lulu, she's got 3 gold per 5s at the moment. She wants to push this game into the super late game.
Right.
All the other Doran's items have kept SK in a decent fighting potential for a while, but now they're starting to look for that late game.
Yeah.
There's a needlessly large rod and the Athenes and Holy Grail for Ocelot. He's going to start to get really beefy, but not for another couple minutes. If we take a look at Eclipsia, not a whole lot of idea of what they're looking for right now. The Trinity Force is finished on Jax, not any surprise there. The Angels is finished, so they're going to be pretty tanky as a group right now. But a Guardian's Angel on Heidel. He was looking to try to finish the game immediately. He was going for right now, let's go in, let's go for that final push, but they're not quite ready for that yet. SK pushed back over the last couple of minutes, even though they've had an open inhibitor this entire time.
There are very few champs that can actually get a Guardian Angel this early into the game. Katarina, though, if you build correctly, she can, and this is a build we've been seeing a lot on Katarina. We haven't been seeing the DFG much as much as we used to, but this seems to be the new style of Abyssal, Haunting Guys, and the spell pen that says Maximum Magic Pen. We'll see how it does here. Zyra ult going down to pop up, only gonna be getting Orianna on the end, but there is Hurkbot though. Will we see the invisible vacuum? Still goes down to the back end. Zyra gonna be going down. Nif goes down. Katarina getting the reset she needs. Still has the extra life available too, but Tabs now in front, relatively protected. The Caitlyn ult not gonna be enough. Double kill for the Vayne. Very well done. Ocelot, the only one left, gonna be soloed out by I'm So Fresh. Tabs following up with the slow. Will the orb be enough? No. Triple for Vayne. That is the ace. 5-4-1. For Eclipsia.
And I'm going to need to eat my words a little bit there. As soon as that Guardian's Angel was purchased, that was the trigger for Eclipsia to go in. They fought extremely well in that fight, a little bit better than I was even expecting. 1 for 5, like you were talking about. They're going to be able to push down this mid turret. Not quite going for the inhibitor, but with the teleport up from Heidel, that's still a danger available to against SK. It's something they're going to have to be worried about. And now they're going to have 2 open inhibitors. One more missed fight like that, and that will be game for SK. They need to tighten up their play immediately. They need to push these guys back out of their base. The first inhibitor of the game falling 28.5 minutes into the game.
Eclipsia has one big play that they can make right now. Everyone from Eclipsia is low, so right now SK, they need to make a beeline straight for Baron, because if they don't get it now, they're not going to have the opportunity later. Eclipsia is going to be too healthy. They have refreshed everything. They're going to have gone back and bought. So if they want to make a move, they need to make it here. I'm So Fresh caught out. King's going down on a Hurkbot. He will be rooted down in that brush. But EC, they're all falling back, and SK, they're continuing to make their push over here towards the Baron, and they have started it already. Nif out in front, being the guardsman. But Jackson and Katarina, they have healed up. They're making their way back. But SK is being forced out, though. This is a 4v5. SK still has a slight advantage here. Kuja getting very low. There's the Orianna ult. Going to be taking down the Zyra before popping up Candy Panda with that. But here's Hurkbot invisible. Lulu ult going on down, popping up the rest of EC. Double kill for Heidel, getting the resets that he needs. Recognizes that Kale is invulnerable, decides to F off. Ocelot in the mid gets caught out by Lee and Vayne. And, you know, Kevin, you may have your ult, but it doesn't do so well if you are alone.
Yeah, once again, SK starting that engagement decently well, able to take down Kuja pretty quickly, but the thing is they were not able to follow it up very well. Katarina was able to get to the backline, start the assassination attempts on every target that they really needed to. The rest of Eclipsia extremely beefy at the moment. That's going to be a Baron going to 4 players. They could have waited 2 or 3 seconds extra to get to Kuja, but they don't really
Kuja
need it.
wanted it. He shouldn't have been out of position.
And meanwhile, if we take a look at the inhibitor in the bottom lane, the minions of Eclipsa even doing their job, they're going to take it down with any involvement or without any involvement from the actual champions. This is going to be a lot of pressure on SK. They're down by 9,000 gold at the moment. This is going to be very difficult for them to come back in, and now we start to see a little bit of love from Eclipsia going to this top lane.
There you go. Tons of damage just on his own. Going to be pushing that up. The rest of EC going to be pushing up the mid here. So get some split push action going on. The rest of SK, they may want to consider just allowing the tier 2 and top to fall because it's a very rough point to defend. Now, with all the gold that was being bought in those last two fights, Guardian Angel number 2, Guardian Angel number 3, Morello's.
Yeah,
on Zyra.
I like this. So now that Deathfire Grasp is not as useful as it used to be, might be seeing a little bit of resurgence of Morello's evil tone. It's going to make the game designers of Riot a little bit happy that
which is strange because
out there.
Morello's
a little bit of ability to prevent the healing from the enemy team, even though this composition's not really designed for that.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter.
It fits with the build, and you know what? Let's face it, Morello's. Last time I checked is one of like the 10 least bought items in the game, but for a build like this, for a champ like Zyra, it works. It really works. I mean, you have the CDR is fantastic. You're going to be spamming your abilities quite a bit. You need that mana regen. AP on someone with ratios as great as Zyra works great, and even when you have someone with enough regen, innately on her, like Caitlyn's going to be doing so much regen just with that Vam Scepter and the IE. If you can manage to get the active down on her, she's going to be going down a lot quicker in those fights.
We'll have to see how that comes down. It won't have as much of an impact as you normally like to see since Eclipsia is just so far ahead at this point. It's very difficult for SK to come back. They need a really good team fight, so they need that mistake that we were talking about before, that free mistake. But they need it to happen about 4 or 5 times. And it's possible for it to happen, but as we see the super minions putting on a lot of pressure in the bottom and the mid lane, the aggression from Eclipse is going to come out. They're going to sacrifice Zyra, but it doesn't matter. They're able to pick up a double kill for Caitlyn. Moving on for the triple. Is it? Who got the kill?
We got a double. We got
2
double
kills
there.
Mixed around the rest of the team, but that's going to force Caitlyn onto the fountain. She's just going to hide there as the rest of the minions take down the final turrets, then take out the Nexus for the victory.
That is the surrender coming out in GG. Game number 1 going to Eclipsia. And we're talking about the ult synergy coming in from SK, but you know what? Eclipsia, they have it too. The Zyra ult and Katarina ult. I'm pretty sure those 3 deaths in that last fight actually happened before anyone from SK ever hit the ground. That's how brutal. That is actually how brutal that synergy is. Yeah,
a lot of aggression coming out from Eclipsia. That is the name of their game plan right now. It looked like SK was about to come back into that fight. They did. They had very good positioning. They won a team fight. They got the dragon. They got a little bit more control, a little bit more stability in the game. But then they went for that Baron. It was a little bit over eager. It was not what they really needed to have happen. They lost that extra team fight. That lost them a full lane and inhibitor, even though their other inhibitor was still open. Second inhibitor falls without Eclipsia needing to do anything, and that's pretty much all she wrote. Yeah,
but to be fair, though, rushing the Baron was really the only play that SK had at that moment. But when you're forced into plays like that, when you're forced to be in positions you may not want to be in, that's when you have a team like Eclipsia. They can just come back in. There's plenty of time killed. Jackson Katarina went back to base. They healed up, came back through, wiped the fight. Kale's off on her own, as was for most of the game, unfortunately. But EC, with their presence, with their roaming, with those great aggressive ganks, managed to take this one.
So moving into game 2.
Yes.
This is a 3-game winning streak for Eclipsia over SK. What is SK going to do to try to come back from this? They've got Hurtbot, who's a new player. We don't know what his mentality is, if he's kind of a player that gets on tilt. We don't know if the team's going to start to be yelling at each other, which, if you guys want to find out, you can probably head over to their first-person views and see if they're arguing with each other at the moment. But, yeah, what are they going to try to change up for this game 4? Or, well, game 2 in the series, 4th game in the overall.
So with the comp that they used game number 1, they're recognizing, okay, poke game, not going to work. Because one of the best things you can do against a poke comp like they had tried to set up here is to just bull rush straight on in, try and muscle out that advantage, which Eclipsia did. So I'd like to see a little bit more of a change in game plan. We may see SK play a little bit more passively going on into game number 2, try and work towards the late game, try and pick some more late game oriented champs, and they can also change things a little bit up in the bans. I hope, I pray that they ban Katarina for game number 2, because if they allow Eclipsia to have her again, that could be disastrous.
It was an extremely strong champion pick for them to have that mobility.
Yeah.
It was also interesting to see because Heidel is normally the AD carry. Normally Tabs is the mid. They switched up those roles, but it worked perfectly.
It did.
Tabs was even able to roam a little bit. We saw some of the early kills was when Tabs and Kuja were able to rotate into the mid lane, put on a lot of pressure to Ocelot. With that flexibility from the Eclipsia lineup, there's 2 options that are available to SK. Either they change their strategy or they change how they play the strategy they currently have. So the idea they had in game 1, it was a great idea. We saw that come into play in the mid game, but they were so far behind at that point that even though they brought up a 3K gold advantage in that moment, it was still a -3 because they were down by 6K before it. So if they were just able to play a little bit more defensively like you're talking about, they should have the ability to kind of come back into this game, number 2, relatively easily. So we're going to have to check how that's going to be. Are we going to a break?
We're gonna go to a quick commercial break. We're gonna be coming on back in just a little bit. Game number 2, SK versus Eclipsia for the IPL Royale. We'll be back in just a little bit.